Ute Devi here. There we go. All right. So, I am feeling into a story, a writing that I wanted to share with you, um, because it feels like it's apropos for me to share it. And it came out of a season of a lot of deep work with other practitioners. I'm a facilitator and also a healing arts practitioner. So, and I work with other practitioners going through, deep healing, deep course correction. And when you are in a place where you are, either jumping timelines or pivoting and you need someone to help you see the unseen, I am honored to, be doing that for my colleagues and my peers. And we do this with different practices, right? We work with different modalities to come into a source state and be able to really bring those darker, when I say darker, those aspects of it that we don't always see, that is not always in front of us, up so that we can actually have a chance to transform and transmute those movements and heal those relations within us so that we feel more grounded, supported, and whole, and that we have a sense of agency and self-referral. And so I love this work. And this is something that I wrote during a time where there was a lot of my clients coming in with, especially women practitioners coming in, and it's like, how do we, being in a man's world, being, if you're a doctor or a therapist or, a lot of the sort of conventional protocols are sort of very sort of man oriented, and the structures are sort of based on like those man principles, those patriarchal principles, if we may use that word here. So there was a whole thing about like reclaiming the feminine. And I was sitting with a really interesting story that wanted to be just shared and how I felt about it, because it wasn't what people were telling me and what people were coming into. We were seeing something very different when it wasn't this sort of like the Instagram kind of like, oh, let's free up the divine feminine and dance around the fire and pick flowers. I'm just kidding. I mean, that's beautiful too. But it was very dark in that place where I was sitting, because I felt so challenged, because I felt like what people were saying wasn't like, they had no idea what the things that I was coming up against and what some of our, as in that deep work, was coming up against as women. So here it is. So I wrote this. This was the summer of 2018. So, it's wow, 5, 6, 7 years old now. But I came across it and I thought, you know what? Today I'll share it. So here it goes. And, please excuse my French, because there is some foul language in here. So if you're not into, that, don't listen to this. This is not for you. Because this is a pretty strong transmission that I was sitting in. So, you can hold on to it or not, but if you're sensitive towards foul language and feel, can feel kind of, you feel disrespected sometimes when you listen to someone that is using foul language. I understand that one, but I got to just share this the way it was coming out, because there was a lot of energy there. And I was limited in my art, in my vocabulary, obviously, and so this was what came. So here it goes. Hold on to your horses. No, all right. So it's called Reclaiming the Divine Feminine. Here we go. So, oh my God. We talk about reclaiming the divine feminine left and right. And for so many centuries now, the divine feminine has been suppressed, has been crucified, prostituted, shamed, vandalized, scandalized, and brutalized. Why would anyone do that? And for what reason? And we talk about the patriarch silencing the feminine. We talk about all the ways and the different reasons and the devastating cost it has now had on humanity itself. the devastating effect it has had on our mother planet Earth. We look at our planet and we say to ourselves, we have killed the feminine. We have raped her over and over again. And now, as a woman in today's world, at this pivotal point in history, I am feeling the evolutionary impulse, the movement of our times to stand up and reclaim the divine feminine. But wait, are you out of your mind? Reclaiming the feminine, you say? Oh my God. I don't even know what that is. What it is. I have read about it from other individuals, what people thought it was, what people remembered it to be, what people think it still is. Have you any idea of what it's like to be a woman that is called today? Called to her life? Called to come back home to her heart? Back to her divine, wild current? We are looking at this pivotal moment of this course correction in our evolutionary process, in our history of humankind. We are again called to change direction, and this time it is so much more visceral, so much more darker and profound because we are so lost, so very lost. Today, as a woman, feeling into this movement, this restlessness, this pressure, this discontent that is born out of rage, a rage that is wilder than the wildfires, a rage that is swirling like the biggest tornado, a rage that has the momentum of a tsunami. It is a catastrophe waiting to be embraced. It is destruction in its most creative force, waiting to become. What does that mean? It means that it is going to break us asunder. Reclaim the divine feminine, you say? As a woman today, I am invited to reclaim my divine feminine in front of the most heartless and unconscious forces ever. The sophisticated manipulation going around today when looking at and poking at the divine feminine without having any idea of who they or we are messing with. She's the wildest. Not in the way that you think, like an animal running in the wilderness, scratching, roaring and biting, yawning, licking and roaring, purring and slaying. No, no, not that. That's just a little putty cat. When referring to the divine feminine, we have just now started to look her in the eyes, only to very swiftly turn our eyes away after being stung by her burn. How long can you look her in the eyes before you feel the burn? As a woman today, standing and looking in the mirror, seeing what we have manufactured, what we have cultivated and domesticated as the feminine, I feel an overwhelming need to stand up and reclaim my own sovereignty. I have bought into the destructive illusion of the feminine. I have volunteered consciously and unconsciously because in my soul and in my bones, there is something unfamiliar and incomprehensible brewing. Yeah. And it doesn't look like or feel like or smell like or taste like or sound like anything I have experienced out there representing the divine feminine in here. How can I reclaim something that feels so foreign, so uninvited, so misunderstood, and devastatingly beautiful with such chaotic powers? I don't know. that reclaiming the divine feminine is safe for my person. I don't know if reclaiming the divine feminine is safe for my womanhood. The womanhood that I have stood in for so long. The divine feminine will eat my womanhood alive. She will take and rip the structure, the very fabric of which I stand on. She will rip it apart. She will not listen to the conversation that is present today. She will not hear of it. She dances to a completely different drum, the drum of the universe pulsing in our veins, the drum of the universe pulsing in our lands, in Mother Earth, her majestic body. Is this the pulse that is echoing through our scarred psyche and our wildest dreams? Is this the pulse that elevates our heartbeat when our bodies come into the state of ecstasy? We are just barely looking her in the eyes, and only for a brief moment, to feel the burn. We are pulled to her from deep within, from yearning to connect to something greater than our little selves. But when standing between love and fear, we quickly let go because the unknown is unbearable. How am I supposed to reclaim something that the world has yet not fathomed? You want me to stand up? Woman by woman? We are called to our knees in our deepest darkness, woman by woman. We are called to our inner depths so that we can pull out the light of the divine feminine. And you know what? It is only in the most darkest of crevices of the human experience where the light of the divine feminine is born, where we say yes to her, to life, and everything that she is as us. Then, when the invitation has been met, when we have surrendered completely and totally to all that we are, to all that we ever thought that we would be, to all that we ever knew, learned, or heard, when we throw out our beliefs, our conditionings, and let go of the conversations of the mental dance, and we sink into the soil of our fragmented being, of our perturbed existence, of our destabilized stability, when we let go of our illusionary attachment to safety, when we let go of what we think we know as truth, then only then can we possibly look her in the eyes without the burn. And at that point, we have nothing else and no one else to look at but her. It is not that we are reclaiming her. It is that she is reclaiming us. She's asking us to let her back in. She's asking us to come in closer for the kiss of death, of life as you know it to be. Oh, but you do let her kiss you in the most passionate, the most devastating, luxurious, piercing, burning, outrageous kiss you will ever have, ever received. I don't know. Are we ready? Are we ready for that kiss? Are we ready as women to let the true divine feminine come in for the kiss? You have to be ready because your knees will buckle, your spine will twist, your tummy will ignite with fire, and your chest will heave. Your nipples will erect, and your hair will stand on end, and your skin will crawl while you roar. Your roar will move mountains like an earthquake bellowing underneath. You will for certain feel the presence of her splendor, and then, why do I speak this way? Why do I think I know this? I know nothing. She has just whispered to me, come closer. She has whispered to me, and these are my thoughts as I am pulled towards her As I feel her, I can feel her in my breath. I can feel her breath within me. She's asking me to slightly just part my lips so that she may enter, so that she may press her lips upon my life. I know once that happens, once I succumb to her kiss, it's over. It is all over. I'm dead. Dead to the woman that I was and awakened to something completely unfathomable. This is what I am most deadliest afraid of. As an awakened woman today, I'm starting to sense why the patriarch has been in terror for so many centuries, why they have systematically and demographically suppressed and erased our voices. This voice of the divine feminine that we have allowed to be silenced because we too were afraid to hold such power. We too were in on it. We allowed the patriarch to become our reason, right? For abandoning our own truths, stepping away from our own love. We abandoned each other for the glass ceiling. Women betrayed women. We allowed the patriarch to assume dominance over us and our temples, our bodies, because deep down we knew that the divine feminine was more powerful than we could ever be held accountable for, that we could own as our truth and stand up for. The terror that ripples through us at moments of deep destruction and pain, at moments of unimaginable creativity, life growing inside us, and sacrifice, life birthing from us. We knew that only the most powerful light would allow such horror to come upon us. We knew that only this kind of power, this fierce, unbending power, could possibly allow such atrocities to be played out upon her own body, upon her own land. It was necessary evolutionary movement through contrasts in order to create a new dream and a new reality. She accepted the challenge because she knew that there was nothing compared to her. Nothing. In a split second, she could wipe out the entire existence, and then, yet again, she can create anew. This is why we knew that being a woman was the most dangerous and most sacred honor as a human being today. Here I am again in the female expression, riding on an ancestral wound that is so deep and so hard that I am cracked all over the place. And at this point, there is no other way. There is no other place for me to go. Mother is asking, step into it. Find your light. Reclaim yourself now. And by God, I am scared shitless while at the same time horny as a desert rat in heat. This movement has nothing to do with killing the patriarch. It has nothing to do with healing the feminine as we know her today either, because it's all adulterated. The feminine doesn't need healing. She needs reclaiming and revealing. She needs respect. What needs healing is the discords of our lives that resists and surpasses her wisdom, right? And the presence in her life and in this world. What needs healing is the mother wound, the disconnection from our deepest truth and love. That's the mother wound. Lots of compassion from my heart to all, including myself, who has suffered tremendous loss and pain in their lives. A huge acknowledgement to the women who came before us and those who are stepping up now after us into the future. We have done beautifully with what we know and what we had. And now we are going to do magnificently in co-creating with Mother a new dream for all of us to share. How we create a new dream is that we become it. And I am just sharing that. I am being called by life to to reclaim my sovereignty as a woman, and by the sheer contrasts that are in our world today. Just like so many of you, I am being called to dance between order and chaos, to walk the fine line between sanity and insanity, to open up to ecstasy and agony, to exercise pride and humility. I am being called to forgive those whom caused me pain, because my looking at the divine feminine threatened their world. I am being called to offer up my deepest gratitude for the ever unfolding magic of the unknown in my life. I am being called to bow down to my own higher self and inner power, and accept my sovereignty as my own and only place of home, to reclaim my divine feminine. And you have no fucking idea of what you are asking. Because I can feel in the time of the most chaotic movement inside of me, in the moments between the movements of sanity and insanity, I can feel her. In the movement of falling from grace so hard and being so humiliated, being so devastated, being so wounded by peers, by family, by loved ones, because I am looking into her eyes. I'm looking at her longer times than before, and she's nothing like what you are telling me she is or supposed to be, and you are telling me to reclaim her. Oh, you have no effing idea what you are asking of me. This is why women today are scared out of their effing wits, because who they have to reclaim is not welcomed here in this world yet. And I know this only by the breath. I know this only by the forbidden kiss that is on its way. I know it. It is coming. My premonition is being announced by the burning of my loins, by the beating of my heart, by the wave that keeps on moving inside my pelvis, by the fevers raging upon my spine. It is the prelude to the kiss. Am I ready? Am I ready? I don't know. What the hell? How am I supposed to know? Are we ready? We don't know. We have no fucking idea. We really don't, but we have to let go. That I know. If we don't let go of the old, it is going to be very, very messy, because she will not have it anymore. She's coming for us. Mama is on her way. Peace and blessings. Happy Lionsgate portal. So much love here.